Putting your high tunnel in the right location on your farm is the first step to successfully growing plants in a high tunnel for the long term. The ideal site for a high tunnel should be in full sun. It should have a little bit of wind protection, but still allow breeze to move through that high tunnel. It should be fairly flat or just a very mild slope to allow water to flow away from the high tunnel when it rains. Ideally, the soil would be fairly deep. You'd like to have a bare minimum of 24 inches of root zone for the crops to grow. That means that there's 24 inches before you hit water table, before you hit bedrock, or any other root inhibiting structure in the soil. The site should be close to a water source. Again, these high tunnels are a desert environment, so they will need to be irrigated. And the further away from the water source you are, the harder it is to bring in water via piping. And you also may want to make sure it's close to an electrical supply in case you decide to add a furnace or manual vents or automated sidewalls or automated irrigation system. One question I frequently get asked is, should I orient the high tunnel north-south or should I put it east-west? And it kind of depends on what you plan to do with the high tunnel. If you're going to grow summer crops, so the warm season, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and you're going to trellis them within a high tunnel, you want to put the high tunnel north and south orientation. This allows for the sunlight to come down over the high tunnel and allows for those radiation sun waves to move in through the high tunnel via the polyethylene clear plastic. This allows for good sun coverage across the entire crop canopy. During the fall and very early spring, the sun is towards the south, and so the sunlight is going to come into the side of the high tunnel on an east-west orientation, again coming through that polyethylene clear plastic and giving adequate coverage of light across the crops. If you have a high tunnel that is faced north and south and you're trying to grow very early or very late season lettuce and brassicas, the sun rays from the south are going to be coming in through the end walls and you will not get nearly enough light to grow and develop those crops. Ultimately, if you decide to put a high tunnel north-south or east-west, you need to look at the surrounding environment and what your ultimate plans are for the high tunnel and your farm. Are you going to add multiple high tunnels, and do they fit together one direction better than the other? What is the overall water flow away from those high tunnels? And then also look at how the wind is moving throughout that site. You would like to have a little bit of breeze moving down through the rows within the high tunnel rather than across the rows in the high tunnel in order to minimize diseases within that structure. So here at this high tunnel, we have a windbreak up to our north providing protection from northbound winds. However, if we look back to the west, we have no protection from the westbound winds coming into that high tunnel. Ideally, we'd like to have wind protection on that west side to provide a little bit of protection, but still allow some airflow to move through that high tunnel for cooling. You need to evaluate multiple sites on your farm, look at the advantages and the challenges for each of these sites, identify what those challenges are for each site, and how easy those challenges can be corrected and amended. That will go a long ways towards making sure that your crops are healthy and that the structure is profitable for the long term. Today I'm going to show you how to use the drip irrigation calculator to determine how much and when to irrigate. So we start by going to iowaproduce.org to get the calculator.